How's it going? So, a lot of you said that you just want to listen to me talk about something that I feel passionate about, whatever that may be. Let's see how true that is when I talk at great length about food. No, just kidding. Something that I discovered a real passion for in recent years is travel. I used to think, like, why do people spend so much on travel? Because it is expensive and it's a lot of money for like a week or two or whatever that you spend, and then it's all over and you've got nothing to show for it. Yeah, and then I tried it myself and realized, damn, I love this. The big trips that we did in recent years, that made me feel more alive than anything else. It's amazing to explore new places, see for yourself what the either hype or derogatory talk, stereotypes, whatever is about, and broadening your horizons, visiting museums, of course, seeing nature in all its different forms. And I want to talk about that. Most of you probably know that I went to the UK in late 2024 to record collab videos, particularly with Matt and Todd, and a stop at Raven Armory, museum visits, etc. But there was, of course, more to it. There was plenty of exploration, which was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Even better as a couple activity, of course. And yeah, let me just ramble a little bit about that. And you better be watching with great interest. You said that this is what you want, so this is what you're getting. Now, the not so fun part about traveling is, well, traveling. The process of getting there. Particularly with night flights, they suck. Although the good thing about that is the usually very busy airport is suddenly nice and quiet, or at least parts of it. Not everywhere. I spotted this old-fashioned rocking chair at the airport, which seemed very out of place. But anyway, yeah, so night flights. Dreadful. I've tried everything. I cannot get a wink of sleep. I don't know how some people do it. It doesn't matter how tired I am. The best I can do is like pass out for maybe up to 15 minutes at a time, a few times. So like, collective sleep time is like, I don't know, half an hour or less. This was amazing. Always the view, of course, from the airplane. The excitement of traveling to a place, especially when I haven't been before, it gave me some energy, but still, I was so damn tired. All right, made it. Completely sleep deprived. I got no sleep at all. And, well, I'm on British soil for the first time. Kind of funny that it took so long to finally make it here. But I used to be rather stingy when it comes to travel, Caffeine acquired. Now I have a better chance of functioning, more or less. Coffee in England is not great. It's clearly not a coffee culture. I mean, I know. The stereotype is tea. All right, so now I'm just aimlessly wandering around. I have several hours to kill before I can check into the Airbnb. And I'm barely conscious. Not really any clue what to do, but we'll figure it out, I guess. Or maybe I'll just sit on this bench for a while. No, I'm just sitting by some random canal. Too exhausted to do anything else, really. It's nice, though. By the way, since I mentioned a couple activity earlier, if you're wondering why I was alone there, I headed out a week earlier because I wanted to get the collabs. Guess I just had a North American moment, looking at the map like, oh, that looks large. Is that a highway? Can I walk there? Can I walk there? Yes. Of course you can, it's Europe. It's quite a nice area. Where are all the homeless people? I did see some eventually, which was a bit of a surprise because 20, 30 years ago in Europe, that was extremely rare. That has definitely gotten worse, but still nothing compared to North America, especially some parts of it. And by the way, there's so much fear-mongering about London, right? Like, oh, you're going to get stabbed at every corner. You better not be out after dark. I was out after dark. It seemed fine to me, but I was only there for a short time and have never lived in London, so there's a limited impression, of course. And it did not feel quite as safe as Dublin, I'll have to say. If you find this interesting, listening to me babble about travel experiences, then I can talk about the Ireland trip as well, which was just as good. I've quite liked Ireland. I don't think I can even just leave this at one video about England. Maybe I should just stick mostly to London? I don't know. This subway goes where? Okay, not going there. The Victoria and Albert Museum is great. I'm glad that I took a stop there to check it out. I also appreciate that they allow taking photos and videos, although just for personal purposes, not commercial. So the downside of that is I couldn't make a video about it, unfortunately. Would have loved to show you. There's plenty to see at the V&A, but you just have to go there yourself, I guess. It may just be a British summer, but even if it's only 24 degrees outside, it gets awfully hot inside, particularly on upper floors. And fans do not cool. That's something I very much noticed, even when it's not actually hot. I mean, there were a few days where it got up to like 25, where I think the warmest that I saw there was 26, which wouldn't be a big deal normally, but the buildings are really not made for it. I mean, they were built obviously for a milder climate, and now that temperatures have gone up every year, it's rough, surprisingly. It's way hotter inside the buildings than outside, and it gets pretty unpleasant. So I really feel for people over there during these heat waves, particularly when it gets over 30 degrees Celsius. That's insane. I don't know how they manage. From a Canadian perspective, or American for that matter, it seems weird. Like, why are you suffering in the heat? Just get AC. But I guess maybe the infrastructure isn't there. Maybe there aren't enough contractors offering to install them. Maybe there aren't enough for sale. Also, you have to think about the population density. It's so much more dense, per square kilometer, a mile, or whatever the hell you want to squirrel, I don't care. It's probably pretty difficult to make that happen. Also, enormous electricity costs, of course. And then I went to the train station there to catch a train to Todd's place. I got a little confused. I almost ended up missing the train because I was waiting on the wrong side. So when I realized, I dashed over there and grabbed it. Not much to see from inside the train because it's fast. Imagine that, a fast passenger train. You wouldn't see that in North America. So then, of course, we did some recording at Todd's place. Matt was there too. And it was really nice to hang out with those two. They're exactly the way you would think in real life. There's no difference between videos and the way they talk and act in real life. Genuine, friendly, and fun to talk to. I had a blast over there, and I would love to come back at some point if I can. It was exhausting even then. My ME/CFS symptoms were nowhere near as severe as they are now, although stuff like that has probably contributed to them worsening over time. But anyway, so what we did was first explore London for a while using the excellent public transit that we can only dream of here. I mean, the bigger cities like Toronto and Montreal in particular, they're somewhat comparable. Still not quite as good, but close. And then we rented a car and drove around, like up toward the north of England, a bunch of stops along the way, and just not a rigid, thoroughly planned trip. The idea was to get to Whitby. And as two fans of Bram Stoker, that was sort of like a pilgrimage if you're into Gothic literature. And just kind of stopping on the way, whatever caught our eye, and staying in a bunch of different places. I'll mostly stick to London for now, otherwise this video will be 3 hours long. If you're interested, I'm happy to talk more about the rest of the trip in other videos. We went to the Museum of the Home, which had nice gardens. Actually explained how people used to grow a lot of food in their gardens, which that would be a good trend to come back. Of course, it was also neat to see the differences between Canada and the UK and what grows there, but I imagine that wouldn't be super interesting to you. Indoors, they have different rooms recreated from various time periods, and that was super cool to see. I always loved the craftsmanship from back then. They put so much effort into it. Why does nobody use wallpaper anymore? Not that I particularly like that. It's sort of baby blue is not really my color scheme, but I'd still take that over, sterile, hospital-like white walls. And now we're talking 1630 wood paneling. That's where it's at. I love that stuff. Such a warm feel, and it looks fantastic. Way better than bare walls or just single layer of paint or whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to show you all the footage I have from there. That would be way too much. Needless to say, super nice museum. I would definitely recommend visiting it if you're interested in how people used to live in those times. I like that they also reconstructed more recent rooms, so like 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Old school TV and all. Again, wallpaper. People used to use a lot of wallpaper, which had a much cozier vibe. I mean, generally, just when you look at stuff like this, it's colorful, there's a lot going on, there's contrast, right in the nostalgia fields. We used to live like that. Wonky ass CD towers and all. Remember when games came in actual boxes? Like with game CDs that you got to keep? And manuals. Sometimes they even had maps and other extra stuff. Good times. I shouldn't forget to mention the Natural History Museum in London. Really cool. Such a beautiful building architecturally, and it's quite large. Got plenty of collections. You could spend a lot of time in there, easily an entire day. In fact, a day is not even enough to see absolutely everything. They did a great job with the lighting in there too. Along with the fancy historical architecture, it really creates a deep atmosphere. That's a lot of birds, huh? Hopefully this video is not just shit for the birds. They had a room simulating a serious earthquake in Japan. That was quite interesting. I mean, there were many interesting things, I'm just pointing out a few. Definitely one of the best museums I've been to overall. One thing I really liked is there are a lot of alternative stores. There's an entire alternative quarter, Camden Market and Camden Town. There were plenty of goth stores, got a few things there. And it was really awesome vibe. I enjoyed that a lot. There's also a very cool store there, Cyberdog. It's kind of like a store and nightclub all rolled into one. They're constantly playing electronic music, way too loud, but good. So much awesome stuff there at painful prices, I have to say, but super cool to just visit that and browse a little bit. Speaking of gothy things and dark aesthetics, one of the highlights of London was Highgate, the cemetery. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful cemetery, the way they keep it, properly landscaped and everything. But of course, the main thing is, again, architecture. Old crypts and magnificent stone buildings and lots of really nice looking gravestones, and just like to read some of the inscriptions and see, how long did these people live, when did they live, and things like that. And just walking around there is so serene, quiet, beautiful. Just very much enjoyed that. And there were cute foxes that I took some pictures of. This one in particular I'm very proud of. That turned out really nice. They were just adorable. I know you don't really want them there. You don't want them to dig up graves or whatever they do. But cute. The people were reasonably nice, even in London. Quite often, the big city, you can expect the social climate to be a little bit more cold, right? But it wasn't too bad. Although it was noticeable that as you traveled further up north, people became warmer, yeah, noticeably. Can't argue with that. And, they weren't quite as super nice as is the rule in Canada. Although they're, of course, assholes here too, everywhere. It's humans. They're going to be scumbags and super awesome, friendly people everywhere. That's just how it goes. And generally, I try to keep an open mind and approach things with a blank slate. I want to experience the actual place. I don't want to just show up there and slap preconceived notions on it. It was definitely overall a good experience. With one exception. As much as I tried to have a blank slate and everything, what they say about British food, or English food, shall we say, in particular, it's true. They don't know what spices are, or they do, but they think they're only for trading or something. The first English breakfast I had, I was kind of like, okay, actually it was not bad. Mushrooms for breakfast is a bit weird, and I've always hated grilled tomatoes or baked or something. There's something about that like pureed tomatoes on pizza and then baked, it's fine. But if you just bake tomatoes or fry them or grill them, there's something that icks me out about that. I can't stand that. But at first I was kind of like, yeah, all right, you've got a pretty good mix of things. You get your sausages, you get tomatoes, you get beans, you get mushrooms, you get hash browns or something, some kind of potato. It's like, all right, but I got sick of it like the third time. It's not really my kind of breakfast, I have to say. I think I'm more a French breakfast kind of guy. But the aversion to condiments was astonishing. At one point I got, what was this? A sausage sandwich. And I was expecting there to be something else on there. The same way as a burger a lot of the time is not just a patty, but there's something else. There's like a lettuce leaf or tomato or onion or something else going on, right? No. No. It was just 2 slices of white bread with sausage, and that's it. There was nothing else there. I mean, like really thinly scraped something, mayonnaise or something, and that was it. And at one place, I got a slice of toast with just a can of beans dumped onto it. Straight up like probably Heinz, like standard generic grocery store canned beans and tomato sauce just opened up and dumped onto the slice of toast, and that was it. I was sitting there like, I could have had this for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Why are you charging me like £5 or whatever it was for it? I don't actually remember how much it was, but like outrageous for what it was. So we figured out pretty quickly that we'd be better off going to Italian restaurants, for example, among other things. British cuisine. It's not all horrible, don't get me wrong, but some of it is definitely bland and not for my taste. If you enjoy it, more power to you, but it was not for me. Something I have to add, though, is the quality of food at the stores in terms of freshness, ingredients, etc. was much better than what we're used to here in Canada. You can tell there's stricter regulations on food quality in Europe. Man, I really haven't gotten that far, have I? There's so much more. Okay, let me know. If you enjoy listening to me ramble about travel experiences, including the food. See, I was joking at first in the beginning when I said, listen to me talk at length about food, and then I did end up talking about food. How do you like that? I'm kind of starting to crash anyway, so I guess I'll leave it at that. Said, if you like it, let me know. I can easily put up more videos like this. I do enjoy talking about this. It's excellent memories. I wish my memory wasn't as bad as it is. But even so, I do tend to remember things that happened on exploration trips like that, vacations, more vividly than otherwise. And this was definitely the time of my life. This and the Ireland trip were my favorite times. And if I could, I would go right back tomorrow, even though it probably wouldn't be the same experience. The first time was always special, you know. But hey, I haven't been to Scotland yet. I haven't been to Wales. So, and there's so many other places I want to go. Netherlands and Switzerland and etc., Denmark, etc. There's so many places. But yeah, not only is it expensive, I'm also a wreck and I can't exert myself much. And exertion with chronic illness means something very different than it does for normal people. So that's why I'm so desperate to figure out a treatment to do better so I can do these things again. Anyway, I'm really starting to babble like an old man. Thank you. I appreciate your unusually long attention span, especially on the internet.